Downtown Fargo, where culture, creativity, and community collide. You've heard the headlines. Now hear what's really happening. Bringing the best of Broadway direct to you. The stories, the people, and the places that make downtown the heartbeat of our city. This is Rocky's Downtown Hour with Rocky Schneider.
Hello. Good morning and happy Friday. My name is Emma McIntyre. I am not Rocky Schneider. I have the honor of guest hosting today live at the Fargo Civic Center. If we've never met before, I work at Folkways. We're a nonprofit here in the Red River Valley dedicated to combating loneliness and isolation by creating experiences where you belong. And for today's special edition live at the Fargo Civic Center, we're checking in with a few people from this year's Fargo's Christkindlmarkt. Rocky's out this week, so he's allowed us to host here at the Civic. We're super excited. Some things to expect. We'll hear from Joe Burgum, the founder of Folkways, and a little bit about the history of Christkindlmarkt, what inspires the creation of an event as vibrant and a kickoff to the holiday season as this year's program. Then we'll hear from the team at LiveWire to talk about how does this event happen? It takes a lot of humans to make something this cool, and they are fully responsible for outfitting the beer hall, making sure the power works, the stage looks great, and they'll talk a bit about some of the work that goes into that, the behind the scenes. And then finally, we'll wrap up with a vendor this year, also a downtown business, that is Jordan Maahs from Tiny Things and the Plant Supply. You might be familiar if you've been to Brewhalla with the two shops that they run in that space. But they're all going to kind of talk to us about the Christkindlmarkt process. It takes months and months of preparation to pull off an event like this. And we're proud to host it in downtown at the Civic Center, activating this space. We're stoked on. So some dates and what you can expect from Christkindlmarkt, if you're not joining us for these later segments, is we're kicking off today at the Fargo Civic Center, T-minus 1 hour. Doors open at noon, and we'll be here until 9 p.m. You can expect live music, local vendors, loads of entertainment. We've got little characters roaming around that are holiday themed, and gingerbread village. And for families out there that are considering coming with their little ones, we've got a nursing mother's room new this year, as well as a kids craft area that's kind of away from the big hustle and bustle of the event to provide the best family experience that we possibly can. We joke that this event is borderline a music festival because there's so much incredible live music that goes into it. Tonight, the headliner includes Javi and the Brambled Hearts. If you have not heard this band, you have to come listen. They're so fun. They've been playing bars across Fargo Moorhead for the last, I would say they're really like honing in on it in the last year. I listened to them for the first time during Christkindlmarkt on the main stage last year during the event. And what I appreciate about these guys is not only the type of music they play, which is one of my favorites, and that's like 90s country hits, but they've got an incredible stage presence. They work really hard to make sure that the audience is engaged in the work that they're doing, and they stuck around for the rest of the event. I think they played at maybe 5 o'clock, and then they hung out for the rest of the event, which just goes to show they've got great character. They're really invested in the music, and they get the energy that's provided through a program like this. They want to be a part of it. Another one to look forward to is tomorrow. So we're here this weekend at the Fargo Civic Center, and then next weekend as well at the Fargo Civic Center. So once you're wrapping up your Thanksgiving meal with your family, come hang out with us. We'll be able to provide food. We've got sweet treats. You don't have to do the dishes. You just come hang out, listen to live music, and eat some great food. But there's loads in store. And honestly, it's fun to activate a space like the Fargo Civic Center. Again, we host a lot of our events in downtown, which is great that we get to take over Rocky's Downtown Radio Hour, because downtown is kind of like a second home for us. Between the farmers market and the night bazaar, Christkindlmarkt is obviously a great space to host at the Civic. It is an outdoor and an indoor event, so bundle up when you come, so that way you can hang out by the fires and roast a s'more. There's lots of family fun to be had. But we want to highlight some other events happening downtown ahead or following Christkindlmarkt, because obviously we're huge cheerleaders for downtown, and we believe in the power of hosting events downtown. And obviously I want to give a first shout out to our friends at the Downtown Community Partnership for the regular annual event they host, the iconic Xcel Energy Holiday Lights Parade, which will be back downtown on December 6th at 6:30 p.m. Now, this is just a nostalgic event. I know my daycare lady growing up, her name's Glenna. She is the sweetest woman. She told me about when she was a kid, she would come downtown during the holiday season and go shopping at all of the stores with her parents, and nothing celebrated the holiday season quite like downtown Fargo. And I think this is still true with the iconic lights up and down Broadway. I know that it gets dark early, but nothing lights up the night like a trip on Broadway downtown. The lights are truly spectacular. And the DCP highlights this with the XL Energy Holiday Lights Parade. So come check that out December 6th at 6:30 p.m. in downtown Fargo. They'll be going all up and down Broadway. You can find the entire map route on the DCP website. So be sure to check that out to make sure you've got your landing spot. There are loads of parking downtown, so park in a parking ramp. Come early, bring a chair, hang out with your family, invite somebody to attend with you. It's really a great spot for cherished family memories. Now, the second one we're going to do, if you're just joining us, again, Christkindlmarkt. We're hosting here at the Fargo Civic Center. Today we've got a tree lighting at 6 p.m. We officially kick off today at noon. But we've got a tree lighting at 6 p.m. featuring the one and only Miss Downtown Fargo and a few of the other partners that help make this event possible. Another event to flag in Christkindlmarkt this year is our Senior Social. So we're hosting for the first time ever on the final Sunday of Christkindlmarkt, November 30th. From 12 to 2 p.m. We're inviting seniors to join us and participate for some free coffee, meet other seniors, enjoy the live music, but that gathering will be over in the craft corner. And the last event that I would love to feature is a fun one with our friends over at Bruhala are doing a cheeky Black Friday and Small Business Saturday at the Drecker Bruhala space. Now, if you haven't been to Bruhala, it's a must. And I think it's a great addition to our community, especially during the cooler winter months when you're thinking to yourself, how do I get my family out of the house? I want to go out, but sometimes they're maybe deterred by the cold. Their team has created a warm, cozy, welcoming space that you're encouraged to just go sit and enjoy. I know I go with my boyfriend and our dogs. Pets are welcome, and we'll just grab a beer and play some board games for a few hours, let the dogs hang out. People bring their kids there to hang out in that space. So go check them out after you're done hanging out at Christkindlmarkt next weekend. Head on over to the Bruhala space and see what they've got going on over there. They're doing a whole cheeky shop local. I think the name of the campaign is Don't Feed the Beast. Shop local at Bruhala this Black Friday and Small Business Saturday. And obviously we're huge cheerleaders of that here at this year's Christkindlmarkt. We're proud to put ourselves right at the start of the holiday season, so that way you can meet some really high-quality local vendors for your holiday shopping. I mean, we've got everything from sweets to, I'm sitting here looking at the lineup of vendors that we've got in the hallway right now. There's a team called Tiny Things. As I shared, Jordan's going to be on the radio with us later. They've got little tiny board games, little tiny like vintage Nintendo games, all sorts of fun trinkets. We've got a group doing kid sensory toys. There's all sorts of great t-shirts and holiday swag, some Lego style buildings. So plenty of vendors to help knock things off your Christmas list for any member of your family. And obviously you feel good doing it because you're supporting local business here in Fargo. And that's something that I am really proud to be a Fargoan for, because I think that we do stand up for and support our local businesses. So definitely come check us out. Again, we open today here at the Fargo Civic Center. We'll be here until 9 p.m. tonight and then back again tomorrow starting at noon. So stick around. We've got lots in store. Up next, we're going to hear from Joe Burgum, the founder of Folkways, on what is Christkindlmarkt, what makes it tick. So stick around and we will see you soon. Hello, hello. Welcome back. I am not Rocky Schneider. My name is Emma McIntyre. I work at Folkways. Our mission is to combat loneliness and isolation by creating experiences where you belong, and we are a proud partner of the Downtown Community Partnership. We are live today from the Fargo Civic Center for our last event of the year, which is Christkindlmarkt, and I'm excited to welcome our first guest, my boss, technically, Mr. Joe Burgum, the founder of Folkways, also known as Professor Pineberry the Elf.
Yes,
for
that
the
is
next
my
2
preferred
weekends.
title for the Christkindlmarkt event. But great to be here and happy to be jumping in with you, Emma, as we fill in for Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky, oh my gosh, what a gem. If you have a favorite, what's your favorite thing about Rocky, Joe? if you were to share?
That's a good one. I think Rocky's decision on sneaker style is something that's very admirable. So he's always got the flare sneakers, which is always fun to see.
That's a great call out. Absolute great call out. Rocky's here with us in spirit. I wish I was wearing some cool sneakers to emanate his vibe, but for now we'll just have to stick with our elf ears, I guess.
It's true. Different type of style.
Yeah. Well, Joe, super stoked to have Christkindlmarkt here at the Civic again this year. We're doing 2 weekends with over 32 live performances. For those who don't know, tickets are $10, but they get you into all 6 days, so it's a super affordable way to be a part of community. Can you share, for those who aren't familiar, Joe, a little bit about what is Folkways?
Yeah, absolutely. We're a nonprofit based here in Fargo, and we create experiences to connect community. When I moved back to Fargo 12 years ago, I was missing kind of the community I'd seen in some other cities around the country, and mainly things like farmers market or just that ability to run into friends at a public park. And my partner Simone and I said, hey, what would it look like to try to make Fargo-Moorhead one of the best places on earth to live? And to us, that meant a rich sense of community. And I think that's something that's been true of our region for a long time, and grateful at Folkways to be creating moments where we can build social connection and create moments for people to run into neighbors and see friends and hopefully feel a little less lonely in this big world.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's more important than ever. I think one of my favorite parts about the farmers market is you don't see people on their cell phones at the farmers market. They're talking to their neighbor, they're with their families, or with a guest that they invited. It's a really great example of community and what Fargo can look and feel like.
No, 100%. And I think the Christkindlmarkt is incredibly unique as well. When we started this event 8 years ago, we were inspired by big cities. I mean, Fargo is a city. It's a small community, but we're not Chicago, obviously, and there's a lot of good reasons for us being the city that we are. But you look at Christkindlmarkts around the globe, and they're in major metros, but they're awesome traditions. Chicago's got an amazing one. Denver has one. London has a huge one in their Central Park. And we asked ourselves, what would it look like to start a winter tradition that our community could rally behind as a way to celebrate the season? So that's where the idea of the Christkindlmarkt came from, taking that inspiration from Northern Europe and our heritage of place and the ancestors that settled this region, and said, how do we get together and do something really fun and communal this time of year?
Yeah, absolutely. And something I appreciate about the work that you and Simone have done is it's so organic in the growth that it provides. I mean, the farmers market grew over time in a very authentic way. I think I've heard you say that you can only grow as fast as vegetables do, and I feel like Christkindlmarkt had the same air. Can you share a bit more about the history of Christkindlmarkt? I mean, it hasn't always been as big as it is at the Fargo Civic Center.
No, people might remember it or remember versions of this event at the Avalon building, the old stone building in downtown Fargo. That's where we really started this event for a number of years. And then in 2019, we were over at Drecker at the brewery, pre-Brewhalla, their awesome addition that Emma was mentioning earlier. And now we're at the Civic Center, and this is our 5th year at the Fargo Civic Center. I love this building. It's so fun to be here. There's so many awesome memories, and I love people sharing the memories they have at the Civic Center, concerts, or whether it's, homecoming dances or graduations. I think this building has played an important role, and I think has important role to play into the future. I know that there's been a discussion as a potential convention center site. There's been talk about reimagining what it is. And I think we're just grateful that the city's willing to open the doors for us and allow us to be here for 2 weeks for this event. So we'd love to have you come down and see it, because it doesn't look like a Class B basketball tournament, that's for sure. It looks like a magical Christmas market has emerged and is really unique to be able to transform this space. And part of it for us is that ability to activate a venue that's this large. I mean, we're transforming close to 65,000 square feet of space, and we may see 15,000 people over 6 days. So it is a big fair to come out. Be warned, there's good crowds and good energy through that. But those Sundays are also a great day to come if you're looking for a little lower stimulus, not quite as rambunctious of a Saturday night, but still get to enjoy the holiday vibe.
Yes, absolutely. And there's been a lot of improvements this year. I joke that this is the year of upgrades. We've done a ton of intentional work, and the events team has done a great job of making Christkindlmarkt look and feel as magical as it is. Can you share maybe some of the things that you're most looking forward to?
Yeah, one of the things we've been really excited to improve is our outdoor winter wonderland. We've got a beautiful area between the Civic Center and the library that hosts the event, and the upgrades we've made is creating sheds. So we had some vendor huts, people that were selling their goods and wares out of it. They're really facades. They were set pieces. They weren't proper structures. And if you come to the event now, you'll notice the substantialness of these sheds, which is really fun. So giving greater opportunity for vendors to be able to sell, creating more accessibility. They're all ADA accessible with ramps now. And we hope to inspire small businesses year-round. We envision that these sheds could be placed in parks or along the river trail and create an opportunity for some artisans to sell during special events as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the interesting thing is we live in a cooler climate, but nothing like this existed in Fargo Moorhead for us to be able to rent. This was something that infrastructure that had to be created.
Yeah, and a lot of our work is in placemaking, which is this sort of intersection of architecture and landscape architecture and events where you transform spaces to make them be a place you want to linger. And we see that at Broadway Square, which is a space that we're in partnership with the City of Fargo and the Park District and DCP. That's a venue where people just come down and hang out on a Saturday morning and have a cup of coffee and play in the fountain. You don't need an event to come and enjoy a place. And for the Christkindlmarkt, we obviously transformed the Civic Center, which is an arena and not necessarily a place you're going to come and hang out for 4 hours unless there's a concert happening or a mega event. And for us, it's really about that place creation. So the new sheds create a really wonderful environment in our outdoor winter wonderland.
Absolutely. Now, we do have some extra time. I'm excited to ask you to share more a bit about Folkways' mission of combating loneliness and isolation. Can you share where this stems from and maybe the invitation for attendees to live in combating that mission, attending Christkindlmarkt this year?
Yeah, it's a very real crisis, I think, that we face, and I hope that listeners know that or see that isolation, loneliness is more real than it ever has been. We live in a really divisive era, and we have tons of devices that pull us away from each other, and we're spending less time in community. We were really inspired by a report that came out in 2022 about the amount of time that we spend with friends. This is volunteering, social clubs, Rotary, Kiwanis, thinking about how we get outside of work and outside of home. And from 2000 to 2019, the amount of time we spent with family and friends nearly cut in half, just spending less time in social connection. And so I think as we become more aware about the mental health crises that exist, I think isolation, loneliness, and where that can lead in terms of self-harm and worse for people in terms of the depression and anxiety is really the thing that we're trying to combat through creating vibrant moments where people can connect. So we think of Folkways as that equivalent of, heart disease is something to think about. You get on the treadmill, right? You go for a walk. You try to start eating right. Those small things before you're in a triple bypass surgery. When it comes to brain health and mental health, we have great resources around triage, 988 hotlines, ways to reach out, that talk helps in hard times. But that reminder that getting out of the house, coming to the farmer's market, taking a Sunday afternoon, coming downtown to the Christkindlmarkt, you're probably going to have a vibrant, fun time. And you might run into someone new, or you might have a conversation with someone that you've never met before, and that's really important for our social well-being. And that's really our North Star at Folkways, is to build a community where people feel like they belong.
Yeah, absolutely. And events are essential. I mean, it's the easiest on-ramp to invite people in the community to come participate and spend time with others, our neighbors, spend time with our neighbors. So who is this event for? If you were to say, hey, come on down to Christkindlmarkt, this is who we're here to support and provide community for.
I think that if you're a grandparent with grandkids, you absolutely need to be at the Christkindlmarkt. There's just so many fun little moments to experience, I think, in a way where it's family friendly, but it's not a kid's playground. And I think there's a distinction there where you can come as a parent or a grandparent and bring your kids and have a shared family moment and experience something together. I also think for couples that are looking for a night out, if you're thinking about a date night this holiday season or you don't know what to do, coming down and listen to some awesome live music. We got a great dance floor. We're going to have some awesome toe-tapping music, as well as really delicious food in the beer hall and drinks from Drecker. So a lot of fun for everyone to come and experience the Christkindlmarkt, and I hope that people will come and check it out.
Favorite food you're looking forward to?
They're getting the sauerkraut and the onions warmed up, and I'm excited for a brat. I think a German brat is calling my name here at the noon hour as we open.
Yes, because there's a whole new menu this year. It's highly curated from the German food hall perspective.
We have schnitzels, and we've got spätzles and all sorts of really delicious German and Northern European foods. So you can get raclette, and there's a whole ham hock in there that they're cutting off shaved meats from. So we got some really delicious food this year with some awesome catering partners.
Even the food is an experience from top to bottom, from entrance into the beer hall to the winter wonderland. There is so much in store. Now, last question, Joe. What is your favorite parking ramp downtown that people should park in if they're coming to the Christkindlmarkt?
That's a good one. Well, it's brand new over on NP Avenue. There's a brand new city parking ramp, which I think is an exciting one to be able to park at. But I think the one that goes forgotten and unnoticed is the Mercantile ramp. So that's right across from the Powers Hotel, right by the Great Northern Bike Shop in downtown Fargo on 4th Avenue North and 3rd Street North, but super accessible, especially if it's snowing or anything like that. It makes it really easy to park. And those ramps are free on weekends and free after 5, so there's no cost incurred on that. But an opportunity to come and stroll downtown and come to the event. But you don't have to go to Chicago. You don't need to go to Europe in order to experience a unique Christkindlmarkt. You can just come down through the downtown neighborhood and enjoy.
Heck yes, park in Mercantile, and we'll see you here at the Fargo Civic Center this weekend and next weekend. Thanks so much for joining us on Rocky's Radio Hour. We'll be back momentarily with Mark and Zane from the LiveWire team. Hello, happy Friday, and welcome back to Rocky's Downtown Radio Hour. I am not Rocky Schneider. My name is Emma McIntyre. I work at Folkways, a community nonprofit dedicated to creating experiences where you belong. We're a proud partner of the Downtown Community Partnership and are live here today at the Fargo Civic Center for this year's Christkindlmarkt, a European-inspired holiday market hosted here at the Civic Center, inside, outside, for 2 weekends, this weekend and next. You can expect vendors, live music, great food. Tickets to attend are $10. They get you in all 6 days, and anybody under the age of 17 is free to attend. So bring your family, bring your friends here at the Civic. We've got our next guests here are Mark and Zane from the LiveWire team. Now, it's hard to picture Folkways without LiveWire. We're super grateful to have them as our audio-visual partner for Christkindlmarkt, for the Farmers Market, for Night Bazaar. Every program we do has LiveWire's hands on it. It's super fun. I've worked personally with the LiveWire team, I think, since I was at the start of my career, like 18 years old, working on TEDx Fargo. Your team is really such an asset to the community, providing incredible high-quality AV service here in Fargo-Moorhead, which people would maybe traditionally not assume has access to this quality of entertainment support. But Mark and Zane, can you start by introducing yourself and what you do for LiveWire? Zane, you want to kick us off?
Sure, yeah. My name is Zane Biles. I'm a project manager with LiveWire. I handle kind of just all the logistics that go into making events happen, communicating with our clients of what their vision is, helping them decide on the right gear that will take, and just coordinating between my team and theirs on how to best support their event. So.
Heck yeah. Very necessary.
Yeah.
My name is Mark Culpepper. I am the Director of Lighting Services over all of LiveWire. I just coordinate. We do a lot of the physical design, the 3D renderings and everything. We organize everything on the lighting, power, and rigging side of every event. And one, if not all of our lighting designers at LiveWire tend to touch every single event.
Yeah.
So we're kind of all involved and all encompassing. We kind of help each other out. And we've had every single lighting designer at LiveWire. All 5 of us have touched this show so far this week.
Absolutely.
So.
I mean, I was going to say, you probably have your work cut out with you with Christkindlmarkt. It is a big lift in regards to that beer hall specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to look great.
Yeah, it already does.
It does. Yes,
yeah.
That's a great point. Now, can you share for those who are listening that might not know what LiveWire is? Can you explain in your terms, what does your team do? What's the resource you provide to the community?
Sure, yeah. LiveWire, we do everything. We have clients of any size. We have big corporate events where we travel all around the country, to Atlanta, to Washington, D.C., or we just have those things in our community that are fundraising events and all those things, our galas. we just, like I said before, help bring those people's visions to life. Hey, how can you take this, concrete building and make it into something fantastic that people walk in and, feel the event and just elevate it to the next level.
Elevate the experience. How do we make people walk into the Fargo Civic Center and have their breath taken away? Walking into that beer hall, it looks so schnazzy.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we strive for. We transform rooms and we transform experiences from audiences to clients and everyone, just with audio, video, lighting, special effects. We encompass all of the technical aspects of every show that you see, and the reason we do our job so well is by people not knowing we're there.
Yeah.
Nobody notices that we're in the back of the room at a soundboard or a lighting console or a video switcher doing everything, and that's kind of what makes us elevate everything to the next level of just pushing past. And we always go the extra way. Our president Kent likes to say we're Midwest. We're remotely north. We're very North Dakotan. We're very very Midwest nice. And we go above and beyond for every single client we have,
Unreasonable hospitality is certainly what your team provides, and excellence to the max, whether it is a small creative mornings with 50 people that we're live streaming to Facebook and you're running mics and the PowerPoint for, or Christkindlmarkt where you're managing 32 live performances and vendors and a beer hall and full setup. It's really from 50 people to 20,000 people.
Yeah.
You touch everything. So incredible. Well, we're grateful to have you. Can you share a little bit more? I know that we've talked about the beer hall, but help whoever's listening, help us visualize what does the beer hall look like for those that haven't seen it yet?
It's not an easy one to describe, but we essentially took an empty concrete building and we gave it a really great ceiling to make it look almost like an old traditional beer hall, with a tiered eave that kind of swoops down, and we've covered up all the seats and all the old building assets, and you can't really see anything. The ceiling we brought this massive ceiling all the way down, and we kind of made it a little more cozy and a little more friendly, and we turned it into an actual welcoming space.
And the thing people won't know because they don't see it is the fact that all of the seats on the upper level are covered by 10-foot tall pipe and drape? 20 foot tall pipe and drape. So how many hours have you spent at the Fargo Civic Center in the last week?
So as the director of lighting, I've been here for all the shifts, and I'm currently at about 45 hours since Monday morning.
And we still have a whole weekend ahead of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little lighter on that, but I'm 20, 25, somewhere in there. So.
And I'm sure you're spending the rest of your week helping other clients, doing other things, not
Doing
for
all
a
the
lack
things.
of work.
Yeah, we haven't slowed down. I think I've had about 18 meetings this week with just different clients on different shows, all while working on the show.
All while working on the show.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, your team is truly a feat. And I've seen, 20 teammates here plus?
Oh, probably more than that. We've probably had about 30, 35.
Yeah, when people ask, they're like, how big is the Folkways team? I say, well, there's 10 of us, but there's the LiveWire team. And we certainly don't do it by ourselves. We could not do it without you guys. Now, from the perspective of you work on events all the time. This is totally your wheelhouse. Can each of you share what is your favorite logistical aspect of Christkindlmarkt? Your problem solvers at heart, maybe a favorite problem that you enjoy solving, or something that you look at and you're like, man, that's what makes me get out of bed and this is why I do what I do. This is what I love.
For me, just figuring out all the different logistics with different bands, I have a very analytical mind of okay, how can we make this transition the easiest and dedicate these cables, and that's the part I really love, is just figuring out the math behind it and how to make it the smoothest transitions possible.
And it does. It's so smooth. Can you share just really quick, what does the stage look like this year? Because it's different than years past. They're utilizing both stages. How does that impact your job?
Sure. We have the smaller stage kind of in front of the main stage there for our smaller acts, which is just going to help speed along the process between different groups. While one group can be playing, the group on the main stage can be getting ready, so it just helps with constant music and just keeping everyone's energy up, and you don't have to miss anything.
Yes, absolutely. And it sounds like you guys are live streaming the bands up on a screen this year?
Yeah, I think, that's one element we're bringing this year.
Yeah.
maybe new to
Yeah,
from
live,
last year.
live camera, image mag, iMag for the bands. Yeah.
Exciting. Okay, Mark, now your turn. What's your favorite part?
Ooh.
Favorite problem to solve?
Favorite problem to solve is the logistics of this ceiling. I spent most of my first day and a half in the catwalks above everything in a rigging harness. If I wasn't in the harness, if I wasn't in the catwalks, I was in a boom lift pretty much all day the first day. But yeah, just the logistics of the rigging and every time we do every show across all of LiveWire, we actually do all the math to make sure that every single weight is accounted for, that everything is rigged properly and safely, and make sure that everyone has the same experience that's just, beautiful but safe at the same time.
Yeah.
Safety is always number one. So
I imagine I personally am very afraid of heights. Are you afraid of heights? I imagine you
absolutely
have to be.
not, no.
Oh, okay, perfect, incredible. I watched you zipping around on the scissor lift outside yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I'm so glad that you can do that. Because I don't know that I ever could. But
Yeah, it's not for everyone, no.
no, and so on the outdoor side of Christkindlmarkt, there's this beer hall that you fully transformed on inside of the Civic Center. Now, the Winter Wonderland is its own beast. I mean, you're running power to all those sheds. Is there a problem out there that stands out this year that you have been proud of the work you put into it?
Oh, so the power outside is a beast and a half. So everyone has to report, all the vendors report what, how much power they're pulling, and I sit down with a nice little Excel spreadsheet and I go through and make sure that everyone is still under that 20 amp circuit for every single vendor. All of them get about 2 circuits. A few have extras. We have some big power out there too, which is what most people don't see. Everybody sees the festoons that hang across and they go, oh wow, LiveWire was definitely out here, and we do some tunes by the truck and and a spotlight on the truck. But then the real work is dropping all the big cable, all the heavy cable, and getting the generator up and running.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the fun problem out there, is making sure that everyone has allocated power and all the cables are rated and safe and wrapped up properly.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does. It takes a whole week of setup to make sure everything inside, outside is safe and beautiful, ready to go for our community. So thank you both so much for the work that you do, the time you've put into the Civic Center this week. It does not go unnoticed. And selfishly, I'm really glad that everybody else got to hear how much work goes into it, because events the end result is beautiful, and the work that goes into it is some true grit. So thanks for the time that you put into Christkindlmarkt, allowing us to do our work at Folkways and being a great partner in making these magical experiences happen. So stick around. We'll be back with one more segment talking about this year's Christkindlmarkt. Join us for Jordan Maahs. Hello, happy Friday, and welcome back to Rocky's Downtown Radio Hour. I am not Rocky Schneider. My name is Emma McIntyre. I work at Folkways, the community nonprofit, and we are live here today at the Fargo Civic Center for this year's Christkindlmarkt, a European market hosted here at the Fargo Civic Center in downtown. We're super stoked. We're expected to see over 15,000 attendees this year, and I am joined by Christkindlmarkt vendor and downtown business owner Jordan Maahs. Jordan, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Heyo, I'm feeling great. I'm excited to be here.
I think it's beautiful because for those that are watching the video, you're actually sitting in front of the last week of hard work that you've been doing. You are the co-owner of The Plant Supply and Tiny Things here in Fargo Moorhead. Can you share with those who might not know what that is, what you do?
Yeah. The plant supply is what we started with, and we're bringing a very gifty Christmas twist to that here at the market. A ton of gift stuff in the style of what we've always loved at the plant supply. Tiny Things is exactly what it sounds like. It's a store that sells tiny items, and you're just going to have to see it to totally understand it. But if that sounds like it might be up your alley, you got to check it out.
They're like tiny games, tiny trinkets, tiny puzzles. My favorite part has been walking partners through the space, and they totally stop and oogle at your booth. Your team did an incredible job getting both of your spaces set up this year. I mean, that's not without a ton of hard work and planning. How early did you start planning your setups for these spaces?
Yeah, we started planning, I think, not long after last year, and we're really lucky to have a great team this year who can help pull it off.
There's a lot of stuff that you loaded in to make these spaces look nice.
Yeah,
and,
there's more than 1,000 different things.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep.
That's incredible. And I mean, this isn't your guys' first rodeo. How long have you been doing Christkindlmarkt for?
I think this is our third year. It might be our fourth, but every year for the last few, it's been doubling. So now we've got a ton of space and really excited for people to see a lot of brand new things that you can't find in our stores. They're here just for the market.
Exclusive for
Yeah,
Christkindlmarkt.
yeah.
I'm super stoked. And you have a stocking stuffer bar
Yes.
exclusive to your booth.
Yeah. So if you've ever liked our shop, if you come to Brawlhalla and liked what's there, you'll like this, but it's brand new, a ton of new things worth coming out for, and you can only find it here.
And if you're looking for shopping for anyone, I mean, you guys have something for everybody in the family, from kiddos to grandparents to your sister or brother. There's a whole variety of items. Now, your team does vendor events throughout Fargo Moorhead. You're not new to this. I think that's evident in how spectacular your setups are. You're intentional. You know what customers are looking for. Can you share a bit about how is Christkindlmarkt different from other vendor events? I mean, you do this year-round, but what stands out about this event specifically?
Yeah, we've done the farmers market forever, and we love the market. And when the Christmas market started, it was kind of like a winter version of the farmers market, but it's really come into its own. It's a totally unique event. I love all the activities for our kids. This is like a place you want to come and hang out for several hours and then come again the next day and the next weekend.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I know that you said there's a few new things this year. What can attendees expect? Are there certain items that come to mind that you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, for sure. If a lot of people love little enamel pins to decorate bags or whatever, we have more pins than we've ever had before. And it sounds like a funny thing, but that's super popular. If you're not sure what to get somebody, you'll probably discover something you didn't even know you were looking for here, and that's kind of the fun part. Is something that you can't just find on Amazon. You have to see it to know it, and as soon as you see it, you're like, I need that.
I need that. My favorite one, I think, are like the tiny hands that you guys have. There's a whole variety pack of tiny hands. It comes with like tiny lobster claws and tiny pirate hooks and tiny hands themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a mini Bop It Extreme. And like there's stuff for all ages, but I will say if you were born like in the 90s or like the late 80s, it's probably like tailor-made for you and for your kids. But my grandma loves it too.
That's incredible. Now, if I remember correctly, you guys kind of launched Tiny Things at Christkindlmarkt last year, or was kind of in that timeline, or if you were considering Tiny Things.
Yeah.
And then you expanded your space. I'd love to talk about Brawlhalla and what Brawlhalla means to the plant supply and how you've moved into not only having the plant supply, but also a Tiny Things brick and mortar in Brawlhalla.
Yeah, for sure. This was actually kind of our sneaky like test run of Tiny Things that we did last year before the store opened up, and gave us so much confidence because people loved the stuff that we put into the gift supply. Brawlhalla has been awesome. We've been there since it opened, and we opened up Tiny Things. And what's great about that, it's helpful to know that place isn't just like a bar. It's like a whole family-friendly experience that you can go to and really enjoy and spend time with people.
Absolutely. Now, Jordan, you are a parent. You've got two little kiddos. We love that you bring them to our events. It's been so fun watching them grow up over the last few years. I think I shared with you, there's a photo of your son getting his face painted at our events, and then I saw him in farmers market photos this year, and it made me borderline emotional thinking about how much these kids have grown up around these beautiful community experiences. Can you talk about your favorite thing to do at Christkindlmarkt with your kiddos?
Yeah, face painting is up there, and I know that's happening now. My kids have come to love just walking around and seeing friends, seeing people, and gives them this like really unique opportunity to be able to practice having those like conversations. And I just don't know if they would have had those experiences otherwise, but to get to run into people and say, hi, how are you? It's really fun.
Absolutely. How do you think Christkindlmarkt's audience is different than other events you do? Like, what's your favorite, I was going to say, like, gift of individuals? Like, what's the kind of energy that people can expect as an attendee here at the event?
Yeah, I mean, this feels like community. If you had to give an example of what it feels like to live somewhere where you know the people that you live around, I feel like it's this. And it's a great way to connect with people that maybe you're not quite on that friend level yet. Like invite a coworker to come out with you, your neighbor. It's such a low pressure way to spend time around people and get to know people better.
And I've heard it's great for first dates.
Ooh.
I also hear that with the farmer's market more than once. I've been like, yeah, I work at the farmer's market. And somebody will go, oh, I had my first date with so-and-so, my now husband, at the farmer's market.
Right. Bring a date, maybe meet somebody that you go out on a date with. Who knows?
'Tis the season. Yeah. It does feel like you step foot into a Hallmark movie. Is the best way to describe this event and the experience it provides.
There's a little mistletoe around.
There's a little maybe we'll hide one. That could be kind of fun. So sweet. Well, Jordan, thanks so much for joining us here live. You got to get back to your booth because we're about to meet some of our best friends and neighbors here at the Fargo Civic Center this weekend and next weekend. Come join us for Christkindlmarkt. Tickets are $10, but they get you into all 6 days. So if you come today, you can check out all the music for free the rest of the next 2 weekends. And if you can't make it this weekend, no worries. We'll see you next weekend. After you're finished stuffing your face with turkey, we'll see you at the Civic Center. So thanks so much for joining us here live. My name is Emma McIntyre, and have a great rest of your Friday.